Our next story is about a patch-up. Not the celebrity kind. This is a geopolitical patch-up. Between whom? Saudi Arabia and Joe Biden. Actually, if you think about it, this was very much like a celebrity patch-up. You had a public falling out, some name-calling, some ghosting, and finally, a reluctant rekindling. Let me take you back to 2021. Joe Biden had just moved into the White House. One of his first major foreign policy moves was this. Biden stopped selling offensive weapons to Saudi Arabia, things like missiles and rockets. He stopped selling them. And why did he do this? Because of the civil war in Yemen. Saudi Arabia had entered this war in 2015. They fought against the pro-Iran Houthis in Yemen, but multiple reports accused Saudi Arabia of excesses, like targeting civilians and carpet bombing cities. So Joe Biden turned activist. On the campaign trail, he criticized Saudi Arabia. He made two specific promises. One, ending military sales, and two, making the kingdom a pariah. Listen to this.
We were not going to, in fact, sell more weapons to them. We were going to, in fact, make them pay the price and make them, in fact, the pariah that they are.
Well, he's broken both promises. As President Biden traveled to Saudi Arabia, you may remember his fist bump with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Not very pariah-making behavior, is it? And the other promise? Well, that could be broken too. Reports say Biden is poised to reverse his ban, meaning he wants to sell offensive weapons to Riyadh now. And this sums up Biden's time in office. More U-turns than at the local driving school. But the question is, why? What changed between 2021 and now? Mainly two things. One, there is a truce in Yemen. The United Nations brokered a deal in 2022. MBS is apparently looking to exit this war. And reason number two, Biden needs Saudi Arabia. MBS played his cards pretty well. When Russia invaded Ukraine, he refused to criticize Moscow. He also worked with Putin to manage the oil markets, and that was a shock for Biden. He later flew down to Saudi Arabia, even had that fist bump with MBS, and yet he got a cold shoulder there. Now we have a war in Gaza. Saudi Arabia is the leader of the Arab world, so their opinion and their support matters. Washington needs their help to end the war. And how will they do it? With a normalization deal, a deal that normalizes relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia. That's what they're aiming for. And this deal is set to include three main points. The US and Saudi Arabia will sign a defense pact. Saudi Arabia will recognize Israel, and Israel will stop the Gaza war and move towards a two-state solution, meaning the creation of two states, one Israeli and one Palestinian. That is the deal. Is that why Biden is giving weapons to Riyadh, to sweeten the deal? American officials say that is not the case, but the timing is suspicious. And Biden's decision will have a major impact. It could tilt the regional power balance. In fact, let's look at two questions here again. One, what weapons does Saudi Arabia stand to get? And two, what has the US already sold to them? Riyadh will have a wish list. At the top of it will be the F-35s, America's fifth-generation fighter jet, probably the deadliest warplane in the world. Riyadh has tried to acquire it in the past, but Biden repeatedly blocked the sales. If he agrees, Saudi Arabia will be the first Arab country to get F-35s. Another item is precision munitions, a bit like smart bombs. They can change their trajectory to hit the target. Very important in new age conflicts. And what have the Saudis got in the past? Under Donald Trump, Riyadh had a blast. Trump was very close to MBS, so he approved multiple military sales. Saudi Arabia was the leading buyer of American arms. They bought around 23% of the total. 23%, how much was that? In 2017, it was worth $18 billion. $18 billion every year during peacetime. What sort of weapons did Riyadh buy? Laser-guided missiles, anti-tank missiles, Patriot missiles, F-15 fighter jets, Abrams battle tanks, and Black Hawk helicopters. So pretty much everything that America sells. And now Saudi Arabia wants more. From their perspective, you can understand why. Why do they want more weapons? The equations in their region have changed. Iran and Israel have turned their shadow war into a real fight. They fired drones and missiles at each other. Plus, the Houthis in Yemen are emboldened. They're holding ships hostage in the Red Sea. Saudi Arabia shares a 1,300-kilometer border with Yemen. Its Red Sea coast is almost 2,000 kilometers long, so Riyadh wants assurances. It wants weapons to defend itself. And Joe Biden cannot really say no. He can't afford Riyadh buying arms from China or Russia. So what does he do? Make another U-turn. It makes strategic sense for the US president, but it makes an already dangerous region even more dangerous.
Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. South Africa goes to the polls on the 29th of May. I will track the election and bring you ground reports. Is it the end of the road for the African National Congress? And will former President Jacob Zuma stage a dramatic comeback? From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global South. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost.